Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Breaking Boundaries with Naluka. Thank you for joining me. In this episode, I want to share with you some of the things that I have been working on since I decided to take a little bit of a leap of faith and take a sabbatical from my job in order to experiment, in order to take a career experiment and try some of the things that I've always wanted to do living abroad, living where I want. And I wanted to update you on what those things are at the moment and use that as a little bit of a springboard to talk about portfolio careers. Because I would say at the moment, what I'm doing is a bit of a portfolio career. I'm wearing different hats. And I wanted to share my experience doing that, but also talk about some of the factors or some of the criteria that I think needs to be taken into consideration if it's something that you're considering doing either now or in future, or even if you're just curious to know what is it like and why is it suitable for some people and maybe not other people. So firstly, an update on what I have been doing. So the first thing that I have been doing is I am working on a startup with a co-founder. Now, this is very early stages, so it's in stealth mode, doing customer testing. You know, we may come across something that stops us going further, but it is definitely such a learning curve so far. And as I say, I'm not going to talk too much about it right now because it's such early days. However, what I will say is that it's already been such a tremendous learning experience to, I never thought I would be wearing a legal hat or a finance hat at times. And really, when you start something from scratch, you're gonna have to do that. So already I feel like I've learned a lot from the experience. And that is part of what this career experiment is about. It's about going and trying things. And I always think it's better to try something and it not work out than to look back and think about something that you wished you had done, but never know what would have happened. So that's the first thing that I'm doing. And like I say, it's a great learning experience and it's very different to what I was doing before. And the kind of corporate space versus startup space are just so different. So that's the first one. The second hat I have been wearing is in content creation. Now, I love creating content. I love writing. I love sharing thoughts on brand strategy, behavioral science, communications, language, marketing content, as well as careers, as well as just general life topics. So I've been able to make a lot more content than previously, and that was definitely a bit of a goal of mine on this experiment. Not only that, but content creation is this YouTube channel as well. And another dream of mine was to always create a YouTube channel, and I never really was sure what to do it on, and now I feel that there is something that I can talk about. And not only that, it's a little bit of a video journal for myself too, but hopefully it's helping people out there. Hopefully it's interesting and inspiring for some people. So content creation is the other hat that I'm wearing. A third hat that I'm wearing is in the presentation and communication space. So I've had HelpMePresent, which kind of started off as a little bit of a side hustle and then kind of gradually got a little bit bigger than I thought it was ever going to be. I say that like it's like huge, it's not, but it is definitely something which I'm doing much more of now. And I've had people reach out to me that, have been referred or have heard of what I'm doing. And so that has been really, really enjoyable. And it's been a way where I can help people from, executives to entry-level grads who are all looking to improve their presenting skills and their communication skills and how they carry themselves in a room. And I love it because I really enjoy presenting. I always have done, and I kind of created that because I wanted to see if there was a way to help other people in that space. And then the final hat that I have been wearing is I've started to do a little bit of careers guidance coaching, you could say. I have been doing a few sessions with people around interview practice and skills, as well as helping one person with their confidence and general career decisions. So that has also been very enjoyable. It's something that I wasn't doing much of before, but I think having taken this leap of faith and having worked in different roles in my organization, different teams, careers is definitely something that I've given a lot of thought to. So hopefully I'm able to help other people with that now too. So those are the 4 hats. Those are the things that I've been up to, in case you've been wondering. Startup, content creation, HelpMePresent, and a little bit of careers coaching and guidance too. And all of those things mean that I've had to really balance my time. And this is where the portfolio career comes into place. It means that you have a lot of variety. And I have found that it really stops you getting bored. And I'm going to come on to this in a little bit. But I am someone who likes to feel stimulated a lot. And it allows me to kind of switch up my day a little bit. But then the difficulty is you are switching things up. So you've almost got to like shift zone or shift gear throughout the day. And that is hard. It also requires you to be very firm on your timings, because you're trying to fit in a lot of different things. And I would also say all of those things are remote. So in terms of wanting part of this experiment to be working where I want, then it has been really, really good for that. So how do you know if a portfolio career is right for you? And this is just sharing my own experience with it so far, and why I think it's so far pretty suitable for me, but equally it's something that, like with anything, has its pros and cons. But the first question I think to ask yourself is, do you have more than one skill set? Do you have more than one thing that you are good at? And I really think everyone watching this does, to be honest. But I suppose it's around, do you have one thing that you're good at plus, and are you able to then monetize that extra thing or things? Okay, those extra skills. How do you monetize it? And how do you shape your week or your day so that you are able to wear those different hats, so that you are able to kind of shift shape, I suppose. And it's interesting, there's a software developer I know here in Valencia, and by day he's a developer, and then in the evening he's actually writing a fantasy book, which I think is great, and he's looking to hopefully get that published at some point. So that's the first question. Do you have multiple skills? Probably the answer is yes. And the second question is there a way that you can find the time to monetize it? And is there a way that you can almost think about your schedule? So maybe you go down to a 3-day work week and you do a job for 3 days a week, and then the rest of the time you work on your own bakery business. I don't know, whatever it might be that you have always wanted to do and that you have a skill in. The second question to ask yourself about portfolio careers and if it's right for you is whether you are someone who is able to deal with uncertainty. And I say this because it's not like being employed by one company where you are, getting your payslip every month and you know that that's going to come through and it's pretty stable and things are pretty certain. I mean, every organization has points of uncertainty too, but that is the benefit of being, particularly with a large organization, and being employed in one thing. Whereas if you're doing a portfolio career, particularly if you're doing a portfolio career and you're self-employed or working for yourself in all the different hats that you're wearing, then the question is, okay, are you someone who can deal with the uncertainty that comes with that? For example, if you're unwell and you're not able to work, you're not going to be getting income. For example, there may be periods when you're going to be pretty busy, and there may be periods when you're actually quiet. So it's more like peaks and troughs rather than a continual certain stream. So definitely think about that. Think about if you can afford to take the risk that comes with that. I think if you have more responsibilities, it's potentially harder to take that risk. But if you are someone who's fine with uncertainty and feels like, you know what, I don't actually have too much to lose, I want to experiment and try this, then it can definitely work for you. And then the third question to ask yourself in terms of, is a portfolio career right for me, is, do you get bored easily? Do you love variety? Do you love to shift, shape, and change your hat? Now, for me, I definitely get bored easily, probably a little bit too easily. But by doing this at the moment, it allows me to mix things up. It allows me to kind of tap into different skills and tap into different areas of my brain. And I think if variety is something you're looking for, then this can be a really, really good way to kind of tap into that. I mean, this person who I mentioned, in the day he's like coding, and then in the evening he's writing. I suppose that's more like a side hustle than a portfolio career. But equally, if, for example, he decided to do his software developing for 3 days in the week, and then the other 2 days actually writing and talking to publishers and thinking about how he can get his book out, then that's definitely a portfolio career. And the variety and the contrast between those two things is just amazing. So if you're someone who gets bored easily, then a portfolio career may well be for you. Overall, my reflections is that it is very dynamic. It keeps you on your toes. You really have to kind of be hungry to, especially if you're working for yourself, you've really got to be hungry to go out and kind of hunt business and really stay motivated, because there is, you know, I spoke about this in my first video, there is no one there to kind of direct you. Your accountability is yourself. I feel that at the moment I'm really enjoying it, but this is why I've created this channel, because in 3 months' time I may actually feel like, you know what, portfolio career was fun for a bit, but I would rather focus on one thing, and I would rather, you know, actually not have to worry about some of the things that come with a portfolio career and some of the disadvantages. So think about that. And I think also sometimes something may start to overshadow other things. I mentioned those 4 hats. It may be that I go down to 3 hats if something starts taking up more of my time, or 2 hats, or 1 eventually. So definitely I'm here thinking about the sustainability of it, and actually what it's going to look like in a few months' time and kind of going forwards. But, you know, that's part of why I'm doing this experiment, to see what it's like. And maybe the novelty will wear off, but so far I feel that it's really suiting me as an individual and suiting what I wanted to get out of this career experiment. And, you know, portfolio careers, maybe it's something that you are interested in. Hopefully this video has given you some things to think about, some things to consider in terms of if it's right for you, in terms of multiple skill sets and monetizing them, in terms of dealing with uncertainty, in terms of if you get bored easily and require a lot of different mental stimulation, then maybe it is for you. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. I'd love you to comment below or to message me on LinkedIn or Instagram and tell me your thoughts. And yeah, please do like and subscribe to this video. I'm really looking forward to the next one. Don't yet know what I'm going to be sharing on that, but I hope that at the very least it will inform, inspire, educate, or at least give you something to mull over and think about in your day. Thank you for listening, and see you here soon.